to the American people. Her loyalty was to the bankers, was to the credit card industry. How does that make you feel? 617-282-0062. Go rise and call you live.
Good morning, Taylor. Elections cost money. Everyone knows when it comes to our people, we'll spend $1.2 trillion on weeds, rents, and everything else. And we're going to get, don't get me wrong, I hate Hillary. But if you was in that position, and many other people, if you have a choice between listening to folks who are going to put money in your pocket or listen to folks who don't ever put out a penny but just complain and moan, who are you going to look after? And it's hypocritical that everyone calls, and don't get me wrong, I hate the land. I think she's evil and Satan, but I think she's the less of the evils. But if our people were to put money into financing these campaigns to get something, we would have more. We get to the churches, we get to the weeds, we get to everything else, and then we complain. I don't understand how we can be here so long and don't understand how the system works. You got these immigrants who come from these third world countries and nations, and within 20 years, you look at what they're donating to their local officials, and then we wonder why. Like, you can't complain. If you don't want to play the game, you can't complain when you're losing. Rather get a clue or get a ticket and go somewhere else. I hate when people say it, but I can get what they're saying. We complain, but we don't want to participate.
Thank you. So, with that being said, Beautiful People Dating website is opening a nightclub where entrance is determined by a panel of judges who rank the guests by attractiveness. BeautifulPeople.com is a dating website where new members are screened by current members on whether they are pretty enough or handsome enough to join. The company is planning to open a nightclub in LA with just that as their door policy. Guests to the nightclub must go in front of a panel who determine whether or not they're hot enough to get in. Exceptions will be made for those with wealth large enough to pay. I'm sorry, that sounds like a political process. Who are you connected to? All right, you're not connected to nobody. How much money do you have? That sounds like real life. It is what it is. I'm so frustrated, y'all. I don't know what to do with myself. I'm so frustrated. And I'm so aggravated because this is like, again, Jay-Z, this can't be life. It gotta be more. A video that was sent by Pink Kitty _Nick. A white student is seen attempting to disturb a peaceful Black Lives Matter protest at East Tennessee State University. The student is seen wearing a gorilla mask while holding a Confederate flag. He is also seen harassing students by attempting to hand them bananas. The racist action come after a week-long countrywide demonstration protesting the shootings of numerous unarmed Black men. Despite the students' racism and harassment, the protesters remain peaceful. And, of course, once we get updates on whether or not any, hate crime charges were filed, we definitely will follow those. I want to give a huge shout out to the Social Justice Academy at San Leandro High in California that held a die-in for the lives lost due to police brutality. And this die-in was just kids just laying down on the ground, on the floor, in the classrooms, on the floor, just laying down with pictures of different people that have been murdered by the police on their face. A die-in. And of course, they got a lot of criticism, like, y'all are wasting taxpayers' money, go to school and learn something. Like, they're learning how to be thinking things. They're learning how to navigate these systems when they can't vote. Their voice doesn't matter. Their parents aren't listening, so they're doing what they think they can do, and that's, civil disobedience, civil unrest. We're just going to sit here, and you could just watch us. 2 years ago, I know you guys remember this story, because I definitely do. 2 years ago, Carlo Green, a news anchor for local Alaskan channel, was doing a segment on Alaska Cannabis Club when she went completely off script to reveal that she was actually the owner of this club. I actually, the owner of Alaska Cannabis Club, will be dedicating all of my energy towards fighting for freedom and fairness, which begins with legalizing marijuana here in Alaska, she said. Live on television, before declaring like a boss, I quit. She said, F it, I quit. The camera then cut to an anchor who apologized, and that clip went viral. According to reports, Green is now facing 24 years in prison with 8 charges of misconduct involving a controlled substance. Even though Alaska became the 3rd state to legalize marijuana in November of 2014, 2 months after Green's on-air resignation, the legalization didn't go into effect until February 2015. And between those months, cops raided Green's Cannabis Club twice and made 6 undercover purchases, allowing them to charge her with serious criminal offenses. Tell me how wrong this is. In an interview with The Guardian, Green said it is almost dizzying when you try to make sense of it. This could literally cost me the rest of my adult life. If convicted, the 28-year-old will be held until she is 52 years old, and by the time she gets out for this minor offense, if it's even an offense at all, by the time she gets out, Green has also referred to her case as modern-day lynching. The words that sadly rang true when considering people of color are often targeted in cases of minor marijuana charges. Green said she became an advocate for marijuana legalization because of its medicinal benefits. This could literally be changing these people's lives, she said. The Alaskan PD Police Department's John Skidmore stands by the decision, saying you need to follow the regulations and do so in a legal fashion. So charging her with a fine, yes, but federal prison for 24 years, that is outrageous. Green pled not guilty and will still trial in the up and coming months, and we will follow this story until she is released, because they are not putting that baby in jail for 24 years simply because she sold weed. I will not believe it. But I do believe it, because we have men in jail right now across this country that are serving a ridiculous amount of times for the exact same thing. Good rising, Sinan! Good rising. Shout out to the Mortons. The city of New York has agreed to pay $5.75 million to the family of a mentally ill inmate who was found dead while in custody at Rikers Island Jail. I'd like to pause for 5 seconds. We did a show with a woman from Rikers Island. She was a clinical psychologist, and she was working with the mental of these inmates or incarcerated persons. Not Andrea James. Is it Andrea James? Who is Andrea James says they are not prisoners. They are incarcerated persons. So she told us stories upon stories at Rikers Island. She told us about, I'm going to go ahead and find it and post it. Reggie, can you find that? Is that possible? Can you find that? Rikers Island, TaylaAndre. If you Google it, it should come up. It's on Mixcloud. It's one of the 500. But listen to it and find out an inside scoop of what was really going on and what's really going on now at Rikers Island. The city of New York has agreed to pay $5.75 million to the family of a mentally ill inmate who was found dead while in custody at Rikers Island. According to the Times, the settlement in the death of Bradley Ballard is reportedly the largest the city has ever paid to settle a lawsuit over the in-custody death of an incarcerated person. The State Commission of Corrections concluded that Ballard's treatment in the city's correction department in Horizon Health, a city contractor, was so incompetent and inadequate as to shock the conscious. Like, he could not believe. The commission discovered that Ballard has been deprived of his medication for his diabetes and schizophrenia, and he is not the only one. There have been multiple reports of incarcerated persons not getting their medication while incarcerated. This was a total system failure, and I think almost every jail in the United States of America is a system failure because it's the Department of Corrections, but when people come out, there is nothing correct about them. I have to give a huge shout out to our own Sheriff Tompkins, because Sheriff Tompkins is absolutely amazing in all the work that he does to you to. Oh, the actual Rikers Island interview that we did. Um, as reports know, Ballard was arrested in June of 2013 on a parole violation after failing to report an address change. I know nothing about the court system. I know nothing about being on probation or being on parole, but he was arrested in 2013 on a parole violation after failing to report an address change. A month later, he was sent to the psychiatric prison ward at Bellevue Hospital Center, where he stayed for about 38 days before being sent back to the mental health unit at Rikers. On September 4th, Ballard was locked in his cell for reportedly dancing in a way that offended a female corrections officer. Not a single nurse, doctor, or medical or mental health provider entered his cell while he was locked in there. Rather than provide the critical care required, the lawsuit read medical staff and correctional officers who knew that Mr. Ballard could not survive without medication essentially stood by and watched as he languished, deteriorated, and ultimately died. The settlement of this tragic case was fair and in the best interest of the city, said Nicholas Palalucci, a spokesperson for the city's law department. Bradley Ballard's death was a tragedy, and our hearts go out to his family. We have zero tolerance for mistreatment of any inmate. That is a damn lie. And if you don't believe me, go back and Google TaylaAndre Rikers Island, and you'll hear it for yourself firsthand from somebody who spent hours and hours in Rikers. And not just, again, not just in New York City, but we have to go across the United States of America where millions are locked up and mistreated every single day. Do I sit here and defend criminals? Absolutely not. But we have people that are nonviolent offenders that are doing years upon years when they could have been doing community service, when they could have been out here being mommies and daddies and taking care of their children. Instead of us spending $56,000 a year to incarcerate these individuals, we could be spending $56,000 to educate them. And to Angola is the worst. Shout out to Christian, who said Angola prison is the worst. The university students raise a Black Lives Matter flag next to the American flag. This is, of course, after all the protests following high-profile officer-involved shootings. Students at the University of Vermont took a stand this week by hoisting a Black Lives Matter flag alongside the state flag and the American flag. The flag, which was raised outside of the campus's Dudley H. Davis Center in Burlington, Vermont, was met with both outrage and support. As seen in the comments on the UVM's and other student centers' Facebook page, the university's Student Government Association sponsored Black Lives Matter flag in response to the recent shootings in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Charlotte, North Carolina, and others across the country. The gesture was meant to show support for those that are struggling with violence and search for justice in this country, said the student government president. Tom Sullivan, president of the university, approved the student government's display of the flag, but told local news stations that it did not represent an endorsement from the university. I think given this particular time in history of America, our students thought it was appropriate time over the next couple of days to show their support for the black communities in the United States. And if I am correct, I believe this is the same college that James Lowen actually went to many, many moons ago. Shout out to James Lowen, Lies My Teacher Told. Please, if you have not read that book, read that book and understand the lies about this country that you may not have ever known. Lies My Teacher Told, James Lowen, or you can go ahead and just Google TaylaAndre and James Lowen. It was an awesome interview. We learned so much, and it will piss you off. Colin Kaepernick slams Trump and Clinton and calls them both proven liars. It was on Tuesday that Colin Kaepernick slammed both candidates in the 2016 presidential race when talking to US Today Sports, it was embarrassing to watch that these are our two candidates. Both are proven liars, and it almost seems like they're trying to debate who's less racist. And at this point, you have to pick the lesser of two evils, but in the end, it's still evil, he said. Then he responded to Trump's comments on the protest about the national anthem, in which Trump said Kaepernick should find a country that works better for him. It's a very ignorant statement that if you don't agree with what's going on here, if you want justice, liberty, freedom for all, then you should leave the country. He always says, make America great again. Well, it's never been great for people of color, and that's something that needs to be addressed. Let's make America great for the first time, Kaepernick said. And I love the fact that I feel like he is the only one that's actually standing up. All of these, and the boys mixed. He's a mulatto. A mulatto. How is he the only one? How? Because as far as mainstream media is concerned, he's the only one in mainstream media talking about it. He's the only one in mainstream media up in arms. He's the only one in mainstream media that is actually taking a stand by taking a knee. What about our other rappers? What about our other singers? What about artists? What about everybody else? What are y'all doing? And I'm still waiting on the Patriots to take a damn knee. I'll find it. Mary Buser? Yeah, that was her. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and find that Rikers Island, as well as the James Lowen Lies My Teacher Told. Somebody leave something in the comments to send me a little reminder, and I'll do that as soon as we get off the air. The U.S. government settles a $492 million lawsuit with 17 American Indian tribes. You done lost your ever-loving mind if you think $492,000 with 17 American Indian tribes is appropriate. I say that because let me be one American Indian tribe. I'm going all the way in. Yes, that's her. We'll see if we can get a we'll see if we can get a link up with her again and go over some of that information. Mary Buser. I just $492 million. That's nothing with 17 American Indian tribes. That baby who that was just killed at Rikers Island, his family got $5.75 million for dying in jail for being for gross negligence. Is the largest we've ever paid out. Y'all crazy. Let something happen to my babies. That's gonna be the smallest you ever paid out. And we need to start demanding for, like, how are our babies dying and we're getting $1 million from the people that killed them? Civil lawsuits against the police departments, and it's $1 million. How? We know Braintree just stole $400,000. Braintree just stole $400,000, and you think for 5 seconds $1 million is gonna suffice me? Y'all better start waking up. Sandra Bland's mama should have got 10, 15, 45 million. Tamir Rice's mama should have got a couple hundred million. If it ain't triple digits, I don't know why we even talking. And as far as the 17 Native American tribes, it should have been in the billions. Because first and foremost, you done killed my people. You done took my land. And now you trying to drill a pipe and bring oil through my ancestors' burial grounds. Y'all done lost your ever-loving mind. Money make the world go round. And if I sit here and dig deep enough in your pocket. Something wrong with that baby. We gonna need to take a time out real quick. Yes, Cesaria. She gonna call back. We gonna go ahead and take this caller. Good rising, caller, you live.
Good rising, Taylor. Always a pleasure. First you have to deal with $1.5 million. My auntie she won a lawsuit about 3 or 4 years ago for $475,000. She ran through that like $20. That ain't no kind of money today. Anyway,
it really isn't. It really isn't. You could give somebody $1 million after you buy a $350,000 house and pay taxes on it for a couple of years. How much money you got left over? Nothing for real. $350,000 here in Boston is not a damn thing. You can't even pause. 5 seconds. So I was over here going through the motions, doing my little real estate thing, and I found an article that just recently came out about what you can buy with $350,000 in the city of Boston or surrounding areas. There was like 4 houses. 4 houses. 2 of them were attached to other houses. One of them wasn't even in Boston, and the other one was a condo. But there was 4 of them though. For $350 or like $375, $399. I'm sorry. Continue.
Oh, good. Yeah, you're so right. You're so right. Half the car, half the side, probably like half of them. Anyway, speaking of athletes, there's just some. No, I'm sorry to say, man. We might as well play that banjo, start dancing with the overalls on, the sambo. The Sambo 5 is real. It's real, man. These cats are so scared. I mean, and Colin Kaepernick is basically showing. So look at me. Come on. Like, what are you really going to do?
If I can do it, you can do it. You better jump on board. Let's get it.
Taylor, what if all the brothers stop playing all the sports? What do you think would happen?
Oh, Lord have mercy. Is you serious? I think Nike would get involved. I think Adidas would get involved. I think Reebok would get involved. I think Under Armour would get involved. I think these major corporations that have a stake in these games I think they would absolutely get involved and start speaking up, and things would be different. I truly believe that. If every single last one of these football players, and not all the football players are taking knees. I don't know what's being said in the locker room, but not all football players are taking a knee.
And, I don't blame a lot of them because a lot of them come from serious economic turmoil backgrounds, and he doesn't go, mama called him up, you better not take this, all that.
Boy, my mortgage due this month. Don't play no games with me.
Exactly. So, I can understand. I definitely can understand. But, we're still, it's still that.
Yeah, Christian, I just read that.
People that, if you really, I'm not saying to be like the people in Palestine, but, man, listen, hey, we got to get a little bit more brolic. We got to get a little bit more brolic. Also, before I go, I don't want to keep you up, but you got to go to YouTube and check out Nate Parker's interview on I think it's still Philadelphia channel, where another Sambo news reporter and also a cop were trying to coerce him into saying that police aren't as violent as they tend to be. Like as if black people, we're having this delusional thing about police killing brothers out here. Obviously they were wrong, but you got to hear him tear through them. It's so articulate, so erudite, brilliant. The brother, and it's the same dude with Nate Parker. They try to accuse him of rape. You know Nate Parker.
Mm-hmm. Of course I do.
Well, that's going to be fire. And these are the games that Hollywood is playing. And the movie's about to be fire. It's about Nat Turner and the rebellion. The untold stories. But from his point of view, but hearing the brother speak, I think that movie's going to be fire, man. Because he was.
What Dr. Umar Johnson say about the Nat Turner, Mr. Parker, who was the other one? It wasn't James Earl Jones, was it? He said all of these men are over here playing revolutionaries and married to white women.
Oh, shit. No. Yeah, Nate Parker, he was messing around. He was messing around with a white woman, and sure enough, she got him. What it was he was, he didn't want to deal with her anymore. And she was like, that was our last resort, That's what happened. That's what came out in the, that's pretty much came out clear in the jury. They saw it, like this, this brother, he's here, he's a handsome guy, it doesn't look like he would need to rape someone.
Well, we learned I was going to say something. I take that back. I take that back. Going back to the U.S. government paying $492 million to 17 American Indian tribes to settle lawsuits over mismanagement of natural resources and other tribal assets. The UN says that there are more than 100 lawsuits totaling $3.3 billion that have been brought against the federal government by American Indian individuals. They're not American Indians. They're natives. They're natives. They're indigenous. This was their land before you stole it. During his 2008 campaign, President Barack Obama made a promise on the campaign trail to, hold on, let me give you this list of things that he promised to do and didn't do. How about labeling food genetically modified? How about labeling food cloned? How about labeling food what country it came from, the origin of it, if it came from the Gulf of Mexico, so we know not to eat the oil-infested shrimp and lobsters. Well, there aren't any lobsters, but shrimp and other fish. How about Fukushima fish? How about he promised to label that? There was a whole lot of promises that he made and didn't keep. One being to institute an Indian policy that starts with honoring the unique government-to-government relationships and ensuring treaty responsibilities are met. Setting these long-standing disputes reflect the Obama administration's continued commitment to reconciliation and empowerment for Indian country. Where? Please, where? If you think 492 million for 17 different because if you went ahead and break it down, the oil company was trying to give more of that to families than the damn government is. The oil company's trying to buy out American Indian tribes more than the United States government, who continues to disrespect peace treaties that have been going on for years. According to reports, as part of treaty agreements dating back to the 1800s, the Department of Interior manages 56 million acres of land on behalf of more than 250 tribes and handles at least 100,000 leases on that land for various uses, including housing, farming, oil, and gas extraction. As the trustees of the tribal land, and the U.S. government must make sure that tribes receive just compensation for the use of their land. But Melody McCoy, a staff attorney with the Native American Rights Fund, who's handled 13 of the 17 settlements, told reports that has not always happened. The U.S. government would say it held the assets in trust benevolently, but the protection of the Indian land and money. The flip side of that is that in exchange, the government was supposed to be a good trustee, and it wasn't. Pause. You are not finna come in my house, kick in my door, rape my kids, rape my wife, and then tell me and promise me that you're going to take care of me, you're going to take care of my house, you're going to take care of my land, and I say that's cool. I don't know how on earth that it was acceptable for the United States of America to be a trustee in anything in regards to native land. You don't have to agree with anything I say. You can always call and give your own. 617-282-0062. Everybody has an opinion. Just like everybody got a mouth. Use it. I got a message yesterday like, Taylor, why are you always reading depressing news? Because the mainstream media ain't going to tell you. McCoy said since Obama took office, there have been 95 total settlements with tribes, and there are 11 more in active negotiation. That's quite an accomplishment, but there's still more work to do. Everybody uses your quote, Reggie B. Everybody. Work to do.
That's an everyday conversation.
It's an everyday conversation. You need to watch Key and Peele's Black Republican sketch that sums up what you said about marrying the white woman and the whole country is native. I know that's right. I know that's right. The whole damn country. California cops fatally shoot mentally ill man who needed help, relatives say. Police opened fire on a man who they said acted erratically at the California Strip Mall near San Diego, California. The man, identified by family as Alfred Olango, 30 years old, was rushed to a nearby hospital. Oh yeah, I read this one yesterday, and Takwa was like, Taylor, that's not how you pronounce it. My bad, Takwa, my bad. The sister said, I called you to help me, but you killed my brother. Why couldn't you guys just tase him? Why? I'm interested in conversations with police here in Boston or outside of the city. I'm interested in knowing about the training that you guys have or don't have in regards to mentally ill, because I don't know if you guys have realized this, but multiple mentally ill people have been shot and killed in the year 2016. I posted yesterday a video of a white man that was shot and killed by police and then handcuffed while he was still bleeding out. I said, do you know how many white men have been killed by the police this year? My baby went ahead and posted 355 white men have been killed by police in 2016. What's going on? Hey, what's going on? The UN panel says the U.S. owes black people reparations. Oh, Reggie B. Say hi. Say hi, Reggie B.
What's up, people?
Peace. A legacy of enslavement and segregation are among the chief reasons reparations are owed to African Americans, according to a report put out by the United Nations group, the UN's Working Group of Experts on People of African Descent, which reports to the UN High Commissioner on Human Rights, presented its findings to the UN Human Rights Council on Monday. The panel, which visited the U.S. on a fact-finding mission in January, wrote in a statement that it was extremely concerned about the human rights situations of African Americans, stating that there has been no real commitment to reparations, truth, and reconciliation for people of African descent. Despite substantial changes since the end of the enforcement of Jim Crow and the fight for civil rights, ideology ensuring the domination of one group over another continues to negatively impact civil, political, economic, social, cultural rights of African Americans today. The dangerous ideology of white supremacy inhabits social cohesion amongst the U.S. population. The panel likened the pattern of police killings unarmed black men to lynching, which is referred to as a form of racial terrorism that has contributed to a legacy of racial inequality that the U.S. must address. This is from the United freaking Nations. I need to slow down, because when I read it, I got so excited, and to report it, I am so excited. But what does it mean? Where is this going to go? After this report, what are the actions? Contemporary police killings and the trauma it creates are reminiscent of racial terror of lynching of the past. Impunity for state violence has resulted in the current human rights crisis and must be addressed as a matter of urgency, the panel wrote. The panel also noted that African Americans are disproportionately affected by tough-on-crime policies, mass incarceration, and racial bias and disparities in the criminal justice system. During this country visit, the experts observed that excessive control and supervision, targeting all levels of their life. This control since September 2001 has been reinforced by the introduction of the Patriot Act. They heard testimonies from African Americans based on their experience that people of African descent are treated by the state as dangerous criminal group and face a presumption of guilt rather than innocence. The panel laid out recommendations for the U.S. to assist in its efforts to combat all forms of racism, racial discrimination, Afrophobia, and related intolerance, which include the profound need to acknowledge that the transatlantic slave trade was a crime against humanity. Past injustice and crime against African Americans need to be addressed with reparatory justice. The recommendations of the group are unlikely to influence the U.S. government, according to the Post, but the study does put truth out there in plain, unapologetic, unwavering English for the whole world to see. The U.S. has a lot to atone for as Black Americans are concerned. I love how the Post just threw that in there. The recommendations of the group are unlikely to influence the U.S. government. How many of y'all stayed home from work on the 26th? I can almost guarantee nobody. Nobody. Who cares about politics? Nobody. But who complains every damn day? Everybody. Last but not least, Tyson recalls 132,000 pounds of chicken nuggets sold at Costco because they contain plastic and could be deadly. Did you get Tyson's chicken nuggets at Costco's? Did you get Tyson's chicken nuggets anywhere? You might want to bring those back. A small number, 132,000 pounds, of consumers found plastic material in chicken pieces. Tyson says they use metal detectors on all foodstuffs before shipment, but pieces of plastic found in the food would have gone undetected. Why do you use metal detectors on the food before it leaves? Why? The USDA advised that the recall product should not be consumed. Lord have mercy. I have no clue. I'm not happy. I don't know what's going on in the world. I read you some of the most they're hurtful, they're sad, they're unbelievable. I read them on purpose. I want you to feel good about yourself, but I want you to also know the truth. I also want you to seek truth. I also want you to be able to decipher truth. I want you to be able to read a report and ask questions. I am sick and tired of my people watching the 5, 7, 10 o'clock news that have absolutely zero representation of you. When's the last time you saw a black news reporter? On any of your local stations? When's the last time you saw a news anchor that sat at that desk and you saw their face between whatever time and whatever time during the news story? Here in Boston, I don't see any of the billboards with something channel news. Watch us for all your latest. All the billboards got blondes on them that just stepped out of college. Y'all keep watching them if you want to. Keep being lied to if you want to. They might have metal fragments in them. Okay, so chicken nuggets go through metal detectors. Interesting. So the new top of the hour today is 6:30. And with that being said, Power Hour, really quickly, we talked about it yesterday, so I gave you a hint. And for Power Hour today, I want us to discuss the definition for you to define, 617-282-0062, for you to define what a good man or what a good woman is. What is a good man? What is a good woman? What are the characteristics? What are the things that he or she may do, say, act? A good man or woman, what does that look like in 2016? What did a good woman or man look like back in your mama's day? Back in your granddaddy's day? What did a good man or woman look like as far as your parents are concerned? And what do you think a good man or woman is going to look like when your babies are ready to have a good man or woman? capitalism. In most other countries, 70% of companies operating in the U.S. would be outlawed. I know that's right. Stop chasing them skirts till I'm about to work. Even with the church for you. I can't play it. Y'all know I can't play it. I want to play it so bad, but they won't let me. YouTube won't let me own my rights of the entire show. Facebook won't even post the damn show, so I can't even play the song. I can play snippets though. Cause you looking good on your head bone, baby. My life without you in it. I just don't roll that way, baby. Shout out to RL. Let me tweet him real quick. We took a quick break. If you guys have the answer, what's the answer, Sway? What's the answer, Sway? What makes a good man or a good woman? That's how good. I like the end when he's like G-O-O-D. L-O-V-E. That's how good. That's how good love. That I had to yell it. And right now, I gotta spell it. My dude said, first I had to tell it, then I had to yell it, and right now, I gotta spell it, baby. What makes a good man or a woman? 617-282-0062. G-O-O-D-L-O-V-E. What makes a good man? What makes a good woman? Hard to define because we have different meanings of love. Damn, I don't know how to begin answering. Shout out to Jean. I'm going to go ahead and go to Facebook because I did post this. So let's see what some of the Facebook listeners, watchers, viewers said. TaylaAndre. You can hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or you could just go to that .com and answer there. And really quickly, I want to give a huge shout out to Faith's Naturals. I went over to 66A South Street yesterday looking at the progress of Faith's Naturals Beauty, and I am so excited for the work that has been done thus far, and I cannot wait for the grand opening on the 15th. Do not forget, the grand opening will take place on October 15th, which is on a Saturday, and we will be there at 12 p.m. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. And shout out to Faith's Naturals. and all that she does. You can still buy online. You do not have to purchase or wait to purchase until she is she's open on the 15th. You can buy online. That's Faiths with an S, Naturals with an S, Beauty.com. One more time, Faiths with an S, Naturals with an S, Beauty.com. So I went ahead and I asked for people to define a good black man. And with that being said, I want to give a huge shout out to Bryce Andrade, who said, me, deal with it. Reggie Brown said, work to do. Ben Flukas, hey Ben, said this guy right here. Shout out to Jaime, respectful, caring, loving, and hardworking. Let me know when you find him. Kemian said, God. Derek said, someone who can define what the hell black is and isn't, because I sure can't. The reason being is that if there isn't a clear definite line as to what is black and what exactly isn't, being black therefore would be a social construct, you defeating the purpose, baby. Like, you taking this so out of context right now. With no clear definition is at risk of flip-flop behavior because his basic core has no clear definition. Okay, I see where you're going with this. But I'm not in this. I will just sip my tea and hope people start clarifying themselves by their homelands like every other sect of people on the planet except us. Chuck said, honestly, trust communication, honesty, trust communication, and always letting her know she is number one in your life. Dina said, shout out to Dina Willis, God-fearing, a protector, a provider, not only financially. So what is a provider outside of finances? What do you provide, or what can a man provide, or what does a man provide outside of finances? To be a provider, but outside of finances. Honors his parents, he is goal-oriented, and is a king to his queen. Parcell said, so since we're talking about someone's dream, or in this case, wishful thinking, let's ask what can be accepted at this point if you can't have everything on your wish list. What would be acceptable? As far as the characteristics of a good man, what is acceptable and what can you lack? What can you say, you know what, he's a good man, but he doesn't have X, Y, Z, but I can deal with that. If he was a good man and didn't have inches, could you deal with that? If he was a good man and was a cheater, could you deal with that? If he was a good man but couldn't cook, could you deal with that? If he was a good man but his feet stank, could you deal with that? What if he was a good man and made no money? Could you deal with that? What are the definition, or what defines a good man or a good woman? There should be room to compromise as long as it's equal and makes sense. Shout out to Alicia. Alicia said Cliff is a good man. I guess this was like husband shout out day. West Indies Live said me. James Hill says, are we allowed to comment? Of course you are, all the time. If it's posted on my page, you can share it, you can use it, you can comment, you can do whatever you want. If it's public, it no longer belongs to me. I learned that through NAAIP. A man that can stand strong in his skin. His imperfections make him humble to fight for his perfection. A man that is family oriented. A man whose family and wife can't live without. A man who doesn't stop trying to do his best, to be educated and support / an advocate for his children. Well, at least my man is this, and without him we could not survive as a family. His imperfections make our family perfect. Mixed family, Latino, and Black united are her hashtag. Jane says, loves God, loves his family, contributes to his community, responsible, accountable, honest, a protector, a provider, and an advocate. So one of the things that always comes up is being a provider. But I've been seeing a lot of women out here taking care of these men. I've been seeing a lot of women out here providing and protecting these men. What does a protector out of a man mean in 2016? And I don't mean a sponsor. B from Tennessee, I'm going to get to your comment in a second. The same with all races. Respect, honor, and compassion. And said thank you. That's what makes a good man, regardless of how he looks racially or identifies himself. And what makes a good man makes a good woman too. There are good and bad in every race. I just look at the color of the blood. We all bleed red, and we are all good, and we all have some bad. Black Jesus said me. Abdullah Farouk said Surah An-Nanis, verse 34. I could be saying that completely wrong. If I am, correct me. 617-282-0062. Men are the protectors and maintainers of women, because Allah has given the one more strength and the other more strength than the other, and because they support them from their means. Therefore, the righteous women are devoutly obedient and guard in the husband's absence that Allah would have them be guarded, their chastity. O men, it is true that you have certain rights over your women, but they also have rights over you. Remember that you have taken them as your wives only under God's trust and with his permission. If they abide by your right, then to them being the right to be fed and clothed in kindness. Treat your women well and be kind to them, for they are your partners and committed helpers. It is your right, and they do not make friends with anyone of whom you do not approve, as well as never be unchaste. From the Prophet Muhammad's last sermon. I have questions, Abdullah Farouk. Where's Abdullah Farouk at? Because I have questions regarding this. The Surah and Nisa, verse 34. Men are protectors and the maintainers of women, because Allah has given the one more strength than the other, and because they support them from their means. Therefore, the righteous women are devoutly obedient and guard in the husband's absence what Allah would have them guard, which is their chastity. O men, it is true that you have certain rights over your woman, but they also have rights over you. Remember that you have taken them as your wives only under God's trust and with his permission, and if they abide by your right, then to them belongs the right to be fed and clothed in kindness. Treat your women well and be kind to them, for they are your partners and committed helpers. It is your right, and they do not make friends with anyone. I don't know where this friends nonsense just threw itself into. I don't know. Billy said, any man who tries, and Faith, I'm going to go ahead and read Faith, because Faith's comment is one of my favorites. Faith said, a king who stands with his queen, through thick and thin, that truly has your back, that loves you regardless of how you look or how your body changes. A man that knows his self-worth, his self-value, because then and only then can he truly know yours. Reading some of these comments as far as what makes a good man or a good woman, I think Kindred, Family, Soul are an example of a good couple. It seems to me they are each complete, confident, and self-aware, and not afraid to admit their mistakes or flaws. As long as the man can build a bathroom, that's what you said, right? No, as long as a man can build a bath. Oh, he did say it. Yo, V, I love you. I just threw that part in there, but I'm so glad. So yesterday, really quickly, the joke is, so Faith went ahead and put together, in the new Faith's Naturals building, we needed a bathroom. I said we, like it's my building too. So Faith needed a bathroom, and Faith has a husband who knows how to build bathrooms. So in the video yesterday, when we went to 66A South Street to do a little checkup on Faith's Naturals, I made the joke that everybody's husband should be able to build bathrooms. And V from Tennessee picked up on that and stated that a good man is a man who can build bathrooms. I'm still devastated. He built shelves and bathrooms in 2 days. I don't know how that happens. I have an inbox that says, Tayla, our generation doesn't know what a good man or a good woman looks like. We're too busy looking for sex. We're too busy looking for satisfaction. We're too busy seeking things that don't have longevity. If we really wanted a partner, we would be seeking somebody with kindness, somebody with generosity, somebody who is not selfish, and somebody who is willing to go the extra mile. Who out here is seeking that? No one. We're looking for swag. We're looking for clothing styles, and we're looking for we're looking, I guess that's like, it's supposed to be sex or sexuality. That's interesting, because I don't think that love is lost. I think there are a lot of people out here that are hopeless romantics, that do want relationships, that do want to settle down, that do want to create families. That's the most revolutionary thing that you can do, is create a family. A strong family. That's the most revolutionary thing that you can do, is to educate and create a family. Sean Henderson said, is the question what makes a good man or what makes a good father or a husband? Because I'm reading a lot of King to his Queen and this of that nature, but what if he is single and just a good man in the world? I think that's a good point. You have to be a good man in the world before you can be a good father. You have to be a good man in the world before you can be a good husband. You have to be a good man in the world before you can be anybody else to anything. And I think that goes back to what Faith said about having self-worth and knowing your self-value, because then and only then can you truly know what a woman's self-worth and a woman's self-value is. I go back to Disputing the Tao's class that I took in college, where they talk about the hierarchy in the family represents the hierarchy in life, in the world, and how a child, I believe, if I'm quoting it right, the child obeys the older siblings. You know, the youngest sibling obeys the oldest sibling. The eldest sibling obeys the mother. The mother obeys the father. The father obeys the elder of the household, whether it's the, aging parent or aging father or an aging mother. And that is the hierarchy in life. And how you conduct yourself within the family is how you would conduct yourself in the world. And this is Disputing the Tao. This is Asian beliefs. How you conduct yourself in your family. And this goes back to Sean's point of who you are in that household then represents who you will be in the world. You can be a good man in the world, and that will lead you to being a good husband, which will one day lead you to being a good father, or, most times, not all, but most times in our community, which will make you a good father, and then somewhere down the line make you a good husband. I would love for us, I don't know how, I really don't know the how, but I would love for us to be more family oriented. I would love for us to go back to being the village that raises the child, when everybody in the family comes and rallies together behind one child or behind the children as a whole, and making sure that those children are taught properly, are raised up properly, that they know how many of our youth, 17, 18, 19 years old, know how to cook? How many of our youth know how to sew? How many of our youth know? Do you not remember health class? You don't remember home ec? 617-282-0062, good rising caller. What makes a good man or a woman?
Well, I got a question I got an answer for both of them. A good man is a man that will provide for his wife, not just financial, but support. Right? A lot of men, what they end up doing is just having kids and then leave the mother by himself, leave his girlfriend or wife by herself, and then let her deal with the responsibilities. But you need to be part of the family. Like, I think one thing that black people take out of our family is just like eating together. I don't see that thing happening anymore. It's either someone's eating next to the computer or someone's on social media. No one want to gather together at the table and eat. So in my house, I said, listen, 6 o'clock, we're going to have dinner. Everyone has to be at the table. So we try to build this type of stuff to keep the family. strong, and also someone who will be part of their kid's life. A man needs to be part of their kid's life, like, every day spend time, like a good hour or two with your kids and tell them how was the day, what did they do at school, how was school, anything excited. Try to get to know the kids, because that's the reason why a lot of these kids are out of control, because they need someone to talk to. My son is straight. It's like every day I try to bring him to the room and talk to him and play together. He likes that. Every time I walk inside the house, he's like happy to see me and hugging me. Those are the things that I think we need to bring back to our culture. And also, a good woman is a woman that's going to support the man. Like, if the man wants to have a dream, help him accomplish that dream. Don't try to throw him off. Oh, that's not going to work. But you don't know. Help him. Sometimes us brothers, we just need a quick help, like a quick, someone who's gonna, sit down and listen to us. That's the reason why we have these two things back, communication, and bring the love back. I'm telling you, the sex part will be the best thing, because everyone's happy. When everyone's happy, sex is good. That's what I have to say. Have a good one.
You too. When everybody's happy, the sex is good. It ain't Freaky Friday yet. Somebody in my inbox, anonymous, stated that men can be out here and be good men and be horrible fathers. But they could also be great fathers and horrible men to women. So, for me to be clear and to me to be concise on what I mean by a good man, because a good man doesn't necessarily mean a good father, and a good father doesn't necessarily mean a good man, and vice versa for women. Like, she could be an amazing woman, but a horrible mother. And I'm trying to understand that. I'm trying to understand, like, how can she be an amazing woman but be a horrible mother? Help me understand. Help me get it. But as far as the last call is concerned, I totally do agree that we don't sit down at the table anymore. And I'm guilty. I'm so guilty, because we'll sit on the couch and watch Malcolm in the Middle. We'll sit on the couch and watch Blackish and eat dinner that way. So I do feel as if the whole dinner time conversation, how was your day, has been thrown out the window, and we really don't sit down and have conversations with our kids. I definitely do, because I have kids that I've instilled values in, and when I fall short of those values, they remind me real quick. Like, Mommy, I'm talking to you. Can you, give me your phone. Sorry, go put her phone somewhere. Go hide it so we can talk to her. And they will sit me down for hours at a time and tell me about their day, how they are feeling, how their friends felt, how the teacher felt. Like, I get everybody's report. I think we do need to be a little bit more engaging with our children in order to be better parents. As far as being a good woman, what makes a good woman? We have youth out here that have no clue how to shop. Like the other day, I was picking up tissue because I have yet to be able to buy individual toilet paper from a black-owned company. So I had to frequent a big box business, and I was doing the math as far as the toilet paper is concerned. And you check out how many sheets by what's important to you. The kids, to them, the softness. To me, it's the strength. And, I'm just doing the math of the toilet paper, because this was one of the things I learned in school, how to bargain shop. And the girl was just like, why don't you just grab one and just take it? And she grabbed one that cost the most, that had the least amount of toilet paper in it. And I'm thinking, like, I know that's so small and nobody thinks about stuff like that, but I'm like, you're wasting money. You don't know how to bargain shop, and I bet your ass don't know how to sew either. Can you cook? Can you eyeball a half a cup? 617-282-0062, Good Rising, call you live.
Good morning.
Good rising, Miss G.
Listen, I wanted to say this right here because it's very important. Being a good woman is just a definition. I think that being a good parent, it doesn't come with an instruction book. You learn as you go. And also that's for a good man and a good woman. You learn as you go. You develop your relationship And most of the time it's based on you and him, and then as time goes by, the family grows. But I think you all learn from each other, so it's a learning experience. No one can sit down and define me being married for 46 years, I say that you learn as you go. Was my husband a good man? I don't know. Was I a good woman? I don't know. Was I a good mother? My kids say no, because I was the disciplinary person. But I say, hey, and in the end, everything worked out okay.
Miss G, I have questions, because 43 years is a long time. How did you get them and how did you keep them?
Well, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but, you get through things. Sometimes you learn how to get through things. I was in like straight line 46 years. I left him, he left me, I came back, he came back, based on the kids and this and that. But anyways, it's trials and tribulations and everything else.
Thank you.
Long road and a long period. But if you think it's worth it, so I think that you should just not define what a good woman or a good man is. Just what a good relationship. What is a good relationship?
What is a good relationship, Miss G? You said that you left him, he left you, y'all left each other, came back together. It wasn't a 43-year straight line. So what's a good? How do we do those 43 years, Miss G? How we make those 43 years happen?
Listen, we had a meeting of the mind, and also sat down and talked to the kids. We kept on talking and kept on talking through it all. And finally, I just said, well, I know that he's part of my life. And did I want him back in my life? That's the whole thing you have to consider. The kids want you back in their life. Do I want you back in my life? So I think through it all, that a lot of women and a lot of men go back for their children. But just think, do you really want to be there? Because sometimes you're there for your children, but you're not entirely there.
Thank you, Miss G. That's the wisdom of Miss G. I love and appreciate you, baby. I hope you have an amazing day.
Okay, you also.
All right, baby. Good rising, caller. You're live.
Good rising.
Good rising. V from Tennessee. How you doing, my love?
Good rising, Tayla, and hello to the audience. So, I saw you post this a couple of days, and I've been thinking, not just about me, but I can tell you a very good example of a good man. One that's been in my life since I was 3 years old is my stepfather. And just to really quickly give you some context, so although he's not my biological father, he defines to me what a good man is because, and of course I'm going to be a little biased, but just some detail, okay? This is a man who has spent his entire life being a servant for others, okay? Outside of just the spiritual aspect, the religious aspect, whatever makes you who you are, he sacrificed a lot. He always puts himself last. He's always been someone that has done more for other people than he would ever ask for to be done for himself. He doesn't look for a lot of reward and accolade for the things that he does. It's just from the pureness of his heart. He's honest with me, life that I can remember, with our family. He's taking care of us even to this day. I mean, he's almost in his 80s. Although nobody is perfect, a lot of what takes what we call a good man is not very popular in today's society because a lot of people will look at me as an example, or him, or any man that's really trying to do things for other people as it's very unpopular because people think that you should be doing things for yourself all the time. So it's a lot about your character. It's a lot about what your intent, what your motive is, and what impression you have on other people. Within the community, he's like jack of all trades. He works on cars, houses.
But can he build a bathroom?
He's built bathrooms. He's added on to our house, by himself, just project by project, but overall, Taylor, to be honest, it's really difficult to be a good man in these days and times because you have people that look at you crazy, like, why aren't you doing more for yourself, So it takes a lot of being humble, being too aggressive sometimes is frowned upon because they don't understand things that make you angry. They're usually for a selfish reason. It's not because you're angry because someone did something to your loved one, or you did something in the community, or you destroyed something. So it's you can't really put it in a nutshell. But to me, I think he's an example of what a good man is, and it takes sacrifice. And for a woman, that's a whole other topic. Some of the same things will apply, for a woman, but it's just not popular these days. So it's kind of hard to put a finger on it, Yeah, like Miss Faith's definition was spot on. But do remember her saying that they had met really early in their lives, and they nailed it. Some people nail it. Sometimes it takes us, 3 or 4 tries to get it right. But we definitely have to reflect on ourselves and realize what's important to us before you attract that other energy to find your reflection. You know what I mean?
I got you.
Shout out to my stepfather, and I'm pretty sure there's lots of men out here who are good men, but we have to make sure that we're defining, what's really good, and not making it be something too materialistic or too appealing to the eyes, and all that stuff. At the end of the day, what's in your head, what's in your heart, is what's most important.
Absolutely. That's V from Tennessee. Thank you, V from Tennessee. Love and appreciate you. Hope you have an amazing day today. Good rising, caller. You're live.
Good rising, Tayla. How you doing?
I'm super fantastic. How are you, darling?
I'm feeling great. This is a great topic today. I want to start out and say, before we focus on being a good man or a good woman, we were all taught to be good people. When we were younger, right, our parents would say things like, that's not nice, don't do that, or help guide us to understand the difference between being good, being bad, being right, being wrong. And so as we develop and grow into our maturity as young women or young men, some of those values stick with us, and then along the way, we find our own strength. But that strength doesn't come on our own. That strength has to be a direct communication and relationship with the Creator, the Most High. So if you are connected, like the brother just said, he said sometimes it's hard to be a good man. Not if your relationship with the Creator is strong. You understand that it's not about what people think, because they're not the judge. They're not your divine guide. They're not your best counsel. What's important is when the Creator calls upon you to do something, you recognize spiritually that you're being called on, whether it's to sacrifice or to help someone that you don't even know, or to take a right turn down the street because you have an inspiration in your spirit to do so. You find that we all are good because the Spirit of the Creator dwells within all of us. So we can just tap into our goodness at any time. And I feel like when we get to the age of maturity around 40, some people are confident in
She said the age of maturity at 40.
And being patient. So I think that there are some core qualities that we need to be good. And from my understanding, I think some of those qualities are the simple, basic ones of understanding, right? So you understand that you don't know what you think you know. So when you see a woman or your companion or your children acting a certain way, we can't just assume that we know 100% what's going on with that person because we don't know their heart, we don't know their intentions. So one is to have that humility to understand that, I really don't know what I'm looking at right now. I don't understand the full understanding of it, so I can't really act as if I have full wisdom. So that requires you to be patient. You have to be patient and wait for guidance on how do I deal with the situation rather than acting or leading into my own understanding. I think if we focus on some of those core concepts in our life, how about not being judgmental? We have parents who are good mothers and good fathers who are 100% just ever loving of their children, whether you say, hey, this is who I want to love, or I don't want to take the course to college, I want to try this, but you have parents that are just like the creator, just understanding and patient and with you. So if we have that non-judgmental attitude as another core concept in our characteristics as a good person, when we're looking upon someone else, we'll be non-judgmental.
Beautiful, baby. I think that was so beautiful. I love how you said the age of maturity is at 40. Lord have mercy. 617-282-0062. I'm interested on knowing who else thinks the age of maturity is 40. I think that might have some truth to it. I'm going to go ahead and read some of these Facebook comments. It's been a while. Good rising, good rising. I hate when people use the term our generation, like everyone, me, ever. I think those people are attracting certain people, so their experience stays the same. I wonder if anyone thinks that it's possible for a good man and a good woman to be the same thing. Sean said, ask Bruce Jenner. I don't know him, but would you mind asking him for me? I don't know him either. I'm sorry, but stop blaming the man, because in most cases, women say they can do without a man and keep the kid away, but that's another case. What makes a good man and a good woman is to build each other to make a unit. I don't believe you can be a good man or woman and be a horrible mother or father, or even husband or wife. Once you become a father, mother, husband, or wife, the way you treat your family is a direct representation of your manhood, womanhood. Not saying you have to be perfect, but you definitely can't be horrible and still be considered a good man or a good woman. Most women don't know a good man until he's gone and with someone else. Ooh, 40 and above, yep, is the age of maturity. Is that the case? As far as relationships are concerned, do women not know what a good man is until he's gone? Do men not know what a good woman is until he goes out here messing with these little flock of chicken heads and realizing that, damn, I had a good one? Things that make you go, So, I'm going to let this ponder. I'm going to let this sit. A lot of us out here are single. A lot of us out here want relationships. A lot of us out here feel as if we have no clue why some of these chicks are married and these good ones are out here still single. I'm one of those chicks. I'm trying to find out what the hell are these chicks doing that they meet a dude and 6 months later they're married. Maturity comes with experience. I don't know what's going on in the world, but one of the things I do know is that I've experienced a lot of good men in my life. A lot of good men, from my daddy to my stepdaddy, to my uncles, to my cousins that act like uncles. I've experienced a hell of a lot of good men that are amazing fathers, that are amazing husbands, boyfriends, significant others, that are amazing providers and protectors, and just, I'm blessed to have the proper, or what I believe to be the proper representation of what a good man looks like. And I have to say that I have an abundance of good women in my life. If you are a good man or if you are a good woman and you see or recognize in another that they have the potential to be good, they're just in an environment that brings out their bad, do what you can to help bring out and strengthen that good. Because some of us were raised in situations, we're raised in environments where no matter how good we want to be, our environment has taught us to act differently. Our environment has taught us that we can't be the sweet, kind, loving individual that we want to be because it works best for me to be the aggressive a-hole because I get further in life. If you see one of our youth that has that innate good in them, please, I don't know how being a mentor came out of what makes a good man or a good woman, but a lot of these youth need a good man, need a good woman in their life. A lot of our children need more representation of what good looks like, because out here in these streets and sometimes out here in these households, they're not getting the proper examples. So if you can be that example, if you can be the change in that young person's life, please do. I was not expecting to talk about mentorship and how important it is to mentor youth, but it is. It's very important for every single last one of us to give ourselves to those that may or may not need our service in simple examples of what good can look like. I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you have an amazing day today. I want nothing more but for our communities to be in the know. My people perish for lack of knowledge. I want you guys to be in the know. I want you to see things as they are. I want your eyes to be open. I want for you to be awake. And I want for you to have strong, beautiful relationships. Relationships, not just with a spouse, but relationships with friends, relationships with your parents, relationships with our children. I want to rebuild that village, to rebuild that fireside communal energy. Like, I want to bring it back to the ancestors. I want to bring it back to that love, to that unity. I want to bring it back to where we could go months and months at a time without seeing each other. And when you come back into each other's energies, it's like it never left. And that's for your friendships. That's for your children. Like, I want for us to be better as a whole. Not just here in Boston, not just here in the United States, but globally. They said, Tayla, they knew a Pan-Africanist. Well, I didn't know that. I just want us to be one together. Just one together. V from Tennessee said, talk about it, Tayla. Plenty of good men and women out here. I really wish we could highlight them more often. Being a good person is not popular in this society. It's considered being lame or boring and not exciting. Most of us are not good. We are great. I totally agree with you, baby. I totally agree. Most of us are not good. We are great. And I would love for us to tap into our greatness. Make us great again. I want to bring it all the way back to the ancestors. Shout out to Bigger Than My Block. Shout out to Ade. I want us to bring it back to the ancestors. I want to bring it back to communals. I want to bring it back to when we're able to, come into the square together. Once upon a time, we just used to go into the square together. That's why we vote on Tuesdays, because everybody used to go to the center of town on Tuesdays. I want us to be able to come together and work together and fight together and move forward together, one together. Together, one together. I just want peace and love and joy and happiness. And with everything that's going on around us, it seems so far away, but I know for a fact that we have the power. Like V from Tennessee said, to be great. I know we have the power to alter our circumstances. I know we can recreate a Black Wall Street. I know we can recreate all of the things that we once had. We don't have to lack a damn thing. Everything we need resides inside of us. Why are we seeking outside influences and outside forces and outside answers? When you already have the answers inside you, Sway. I'm finna go on a soapbox, and I don't want to go there right now. I want to give a huge shout out to Faith's Naturals. Huge shout out to B from Tennessee. Thank you for all that you do as far as bringing Faith's Naturals to Tennessee. Yes, I said it. We got Faith's Naturals pop-up shops going on in Tennessee. Thanks to V. Do not forget that on November 19th, we have Prentice Powell coming to Boston. If you don't know him, please go Google him. He is an awesome poet. It's going to be an awesome event. The rebirth of work to do. Shout out to Reggie B. That is going to be at the Lena Park down here on American Legion. So please make sure you show up for that. November 19th. You can purchase your tickets now, or you'll be able to purchase them at the door. Last comments of the day from Facebook. There are plenty of good men and women. There just aren't enough patience to take the time to see the best in each other. I needed this message from you and the callers this rising. Thank you and have a great day, family. I love you all. I appreciate you all. I'm going to go ahead and get ready for Freaky Friday. How about that? Good rising, Steve.
I'll come through late night, I'll do your body right, I'll put you in new positions and never know you right. I'm talking workout conditions, you sweating through the night. I'll give it up, baby, and I'll bring it back to life. I'm talking,
I'm going to bring you over.
hold you by your hand, I'ma bring you to me closer. Girl, just don't be scared, 'cause ain't no time for no playing, ain't no time for no acting unless we turn it on that camera.
And it's like camera action on me. And I'ma hit it out the park, baby.
Keep you screaming, I ain't tripping, it ain't your fault, baby. Throw your legs on my shoulders, I'll keep you coming. Pinning you down on my ocean, so don't go running. On a late night, I'ma do your body right, time to time again. I'll be your designated, you just call me who you know. Going out and in, I'll be your just take a second now, and I'ma look you in places you never know I found. I put my tongue in some spaces you won't give me a crown. Girl, trust me, ain't no replacement to how I put it down. I'm talking, I'ma make you feel right. Baby, back over, let me show you what it feels like. When you open that door, with your permission, I promise to take you down low. Later I'll be more aggressive, I'll take you down slow. You can call me and I'ma hit it out the park, baby. Keep you screaming, I ain't tripping, it ain't your fault, baby. Throw your legs on my shoulders, I'll keep you coming. Pinning you down on my ocean, so don't go run, baby. On a late night, I'ma do your body right, time to time again. I'll be your designated, you just call me who you know. Going out and in, I'll be your designated hitter, baby. Whoa. I'll be your designated hitter. I'll be your designated hitter, baby. I'll be your designated hitter. I'll be your designated
Be home by 5. Hey, it's sunrise and I'm still in your bed. Good night usually means goodbye.